Loading Snacks.
What's good, Loading Snacks universe? Your boy Jokes is here. I got the homie Marcus, and it is time for another episode of the Finisher Podcast.
Finisher.
Sir, how are you doing today?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling like I can give everything my maximum effort today.
Maximum effort. That's for another show. But welcome once again to another episode of the Finisher Podcast, where we get together and we just talk all things wrestling, future, past, present, just a little mix of everything in there for it. Going to give you a couple topics as we do normally, and then there's going to be a topic that only our Patreon subscribers will be able to watch. So if you want to be able to hear that last conversation that we have, the only way to listen and hear that is to hop on over to Patreon, where you can subscribe and you can listen or watch, whichever way you determine that you want to be able to consume said content. But sir, I think we are ready to go. This week, I think I'm going to let you kick things off.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about?
What I want to talk about today is, from a story perspective, should there be an equal balance of faces and heels on the roster, or is it okay to have more or less than one of the two?
Ooh, I like this. I like this one. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think balance always has to be there if the story is right. I kind of find it interesting. I feel like it's been a while since we've had like two heels potentially as like one is champion and maybe one coming in to try to take the championship. I don't think we really have done that in a very long time. I feel like it's always either a face or a baby face versus the heel, but you never have like full on heel versus heel. I feel like on occasion we do see face versus face. I feel like that's still a normal thing. Show the sign of respect. Hey, you got the best of me, but down the road I'm coming back for my revenge. Like, I feel like we see that more often, but heel versus heel, I don't think we see. And that's kind of across the board, and not just one promotion here or one promotion there. But I think as long as the story is good, I do think it's possible we could have that, or not have that balance, I should say. I think for the state of the business, having a good balance of both is a good thing to have. Don't get me wrong. When you have that younger crowd, you want to be able to have them to be able to look up to somebody. You don't always want them to see the bad guy and be like, yeah, I want to be just like the bad guy and do all those things. So I don't think it's needed, but I feel like it's good to have sometimes that sense of the balance.
Okay. Me personally, I think a good mix will probably be something like a 60-40 split. 60% face, 40% heel. Give a good mix that way. Your faces aren't always facing each other, but you can still do that storyline perspective. You can do heels and faces, heels versus heels, like you mentioned. But I feel like having that 60-40 split roster wise will allow a lot of stories. You have some faces that can do exclusive like promo work or whatever, become managers, whatever, just to continue that journey. Or there's a lot of avenues faces can take versus heels. Heels are always going to be heels. Versus a face, there are many ways you can play a face, a baby face, from a story perspective. So I feel like that's a pretty good mix, and that would drive stories to a different level. As we've seen, we've had Roman Reigns, who was pushed to be the super baby face, and then he left, came back, heel, worked out for him with all the circumstances that happened during those years, and was able to truly take off and meet the potential that people saw within him. And then you have someone like MJF, who started off as a heel and then transition to a pseudo baby face,
Hmm.
and was really successful, but can also go back to being a heel and still be just as successful as he was as a pseudo baby face. So I feel like as long as the person can portray the character,
Definitely.
it would, and there's some concrete idea of what they want that character to do, uh, those faces and heels can truly shine. But yeah, 60-40 split between faces and heels will probably my mixture of talent on a
I dig.
roster.
I dig that. I think MJF is probably one of those that you can definitely pick out of the mix. Um, People like MJF regardless of when he's a heel or a face. So sometimes it's a little difficult because you want them to be the heel. He'll do the heel things, but people cheer for it. I think right now with the heel version of MJF that we have right now is the one that people hate. Um, but then you got to be careful about how it's presented. Like when he went through like the first time, like when he first started as a heel, it was he was trying to be the douchebag, but it was like I feel like in him trying to be the douchebag, people enjoy when he was like picking on people and doing everything, which eventually broke off into like that babyface version of him pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it wasn't until he just came back. He went out hurt, healed up, came back. It seemed like hey, we're all happy to see this guy. Things like it was chill, and then immediately had that reverse and just turned back into a heel. Um, like I would like to. I feel like they wouldn't at least right now they wouldn't cross paths. But when you take like heel MJF and this heel Christian that we have right now, that would be a heel versus heel thing that I would like to see. I feel like the two of them, Mike Wise, could go back and forth and have some things.
Oh yes,
between
most
each other.
definitely. Christian and
Um,
MJF on like going back to back on the mic. That's prime television right there.
unhinged. I don't know if we're ready for it, but I think that could be two good examples of having a heel versus heel. And like obviously, championship doesn't need to be in the mix of it. Like I don't know how these two could end up. Someone causes the other one the match, and then everything just goes further downhill from there. Obviously now with MJF with the American Championship, um, it's, it's almost weird. I know they don't want to call it the U.S. Championship for kind of compare, but whatever. Different topic, different subject.
They should just call
Um,
it the Rhodes Championship.
uh, but I feel like that could be a good example of doing a heel versus heel. Like I think one time, like, I'm trying to think of a time WWE kind of did it. Well, no, they did do it. Was when Daniel Bryan went through and had he had like his heel turn. Like he hadn't been heel in ages, and I think he was going up. It was against Brock Lesnar. I'm almost certain. Brock Lesnar for everything is never been truly a face. He
Yeah.
was in that weird spot where people just enjoyed what it was that he did. But there was a time where Daniel Bryan and him were pretty much both heels at the same time, and they ended up facing each other for, I believe it actually was for the WWE Championship. I'm trying to remember if this is when Bryan went through his that what did he call? It was like his little environmentalist.
Yeah,
Uh,
environmental brand.
yeah, where he had the environmental friendly
Yeah, the hemp
championship.
belt. Yeah.
Um, and I believe it happened during that time. But it just depends on, just like you said,
I would
how
say
that
Triple H and
story.
Orton were heel versus heel.
Triple H and Orton. Like, there's characters that like sometimes just never. It's weird. Like Orton right now, everybody loves him. We all love Orton. We're gonna love Orton regardless. But
People
when
are
he's
going to be upset when that turn happens. Like I'm just waiting for it because like that's that's his bread and butter. And right now I have toast and I have no butter. So
I am
I need
waiting
it.
for a heel Orton return. Like, I feel like him and Cody. I feel like that would be a good way to give us heel Orton. Because like when they've been tagging, you've been seeing when they've been walking out together. Randy has been
He been looking.
eyeing He has been
Even looking at
eyeing
that belt,
championship.
he's like, I gotta catch up to John Cena. He's on his farewell tour. If he's on his farewell tour, I know mine is around the corner. So I need that belt.
And I could see, like, I really want to see us get at least one more heel Orton run. Like, I want to see him with the championship and be a face for a little bit. But it's just hard to do it right with Cody as champion. It's just really hard to be able to shift or do anything extra around him as far as changing the title. Like, I haven't figured out yet when it's going to be he's going to lose that championship. But I feel like an Orton would be the one to take the belt off of him. I don't know if when Roman comes back, if he's going to be able to do it once again. I'm interested to see if we get a rematch between them, but I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I feel like if like Roman, like people's like, oh, Roman's gonna come back as a face. What if he doesn't?
Like,
what if he still comes back as a heel and stays a heel? What if they don't bring back Jay? What if they don't bring back Jay and Jay just stays on Raw doing his own thing, trying to become World Heavyweight Champion? How about that? He stays face, stays over there. What if they bring in someone else in the original bloodline?
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
It's good. It's gonna be interesting, but still, like the same thing. Like we've been saying, it just depends on that balance. Like you can't instantly just flip everybody at the same time. Like we've seen some times when a couple people have gone face at the same time, or a couple people have gone heel at the same time, but you just can't do it all at the same time. So just like it's got to be a balance. Like currently, like right now, Cody's clearly a face. Damian Priest he's at that baby face. He's right at that turn of really just being a face. If they end up separating from the Judgment Day, because right now they're not aligning on the same things currently right now, and it looks like we're going to end up seeing Finn probably turn and become full on heel, and just assume I'm assuming he's going to end up taking control of the Judgment Day, and then I don't know.
If my man Finn somehow comes and wins that World Heavyweight Championship,
I need him. Like, listen,
I will be wearing this. I will be wearing this the entire run. No, mark my words to all of our viewers watching right now, to the people who are listening. I am holding up my Bullet Club fitted. I'll be rocking this fitted if Finn Balor becomes World Heavyweight Champion. Because you don't know, this man has not had a singles title since his inaugural WWE Championship. Just let that sink in for you.
It's
a single title. He's never had the US title. He's never had the Intercontinental Championship. Hell, he's never even had the 24/7 belt. This man has not had a singles title since
NXT. He's had NXT, so let's
main roster.
Like I feel like after that injury, and he had to drop the Universal Championship the very next night. Like it hasn't been the same. I'm happy he's been tag champion. Obviously, the Judgment Day. He's had some high-profile main event matches, but just unfortunately wasn't able to pull it out when it needs to be. He's done it as
that's wild. Carlito's been, I think, U.S. Intercontinental Champion and a tag team champion.
You know what? He probably has had. I'm pretty certain he's had both the U.S. and Intercontinental Championship. He hasn't had any of the main WWE or World Heavyweight Championship. I'm for Finn right now. I would like to see him versus Damian, just obviously with the whole Judgment Day thing. But let's be real. If it came down to the two of them fighting for that World Heavyweight Championship right now, Damian is definitely going to win. At least between now and SummerSlam, there is no changing of the guard on that belt. Because we are getting Damian versus, I guess technically, if you consider, he's a babyface right now. I'm not even going to try to spin it. Him and Gunther should be pretty solid for that championship. But I don't know what Finn's going to have to do. Finn go full on. Even when he was a heel, he couldn't do it. I need at least one run out of him before he decides to hang the boots up. Like he deserves that after losing it the first
Hey,
time.
but you gotta remember, all the times he was going after that belt, Damien was trying to cash in.
Yep. So that probably wouldn't happen. If he'd have cashed in on him, if Finn somehow was able to take it, we would already have the destruction of the Judgment Day already. We wouldn't be where we're at currently right now.
Yep.
But yeah, but end of it, I think what you said is fair. 60-40 balance sounds like a good number. I personally think if the story is good, you don't always have to worry about it, but at the same time, depending on the type of audience that you want to make sure that you're able to maintain, especially if you're like a WWE who wants to make sure kids have that person to be able to look up to. You go back through time, you have like the John Cena's that he stands for what it is. We got Chain Gang Cena ages ago. We'll never see that again. You have to have at least that one staple that is your go-to face, I think, in order for it to be able to work out. As long as you have that one staple that can always stand up to the machine, you could be in a good spot for it. Dig it.
Good.
I dig it. Now, let's go ahead and shift topics. I want to talk about a guy right now that has virtually taken over NXT. You say his name and he appears. Joe Hendry. John Hendry. I'm gonna take a nap. But this dude has come in, still under contract with NXT. I mean, TNA.
TNA.
We have the relationship between WWE, NXT, TNA, which honestly is absolutely an amazing thing right now. Something honestly we never thought we'd do. Like, obviously, started with Mickie James, who was kind of the catalyst that broke everything in. Moved on to Jordan Grace, and now we just have full on roster.
Mm-hmm.
But this dude has come over and is absolutely loved by everybody. And it shows you, obviously, people are watching both platforms. And I'm sure when he showed up initially, there was some people that probably like, who the hell is this guy?
Hey, but the fact that when he first entered the scene in NXT, that people still knew what to do when his music hit, and still followed along when the lyrics literally told you wave your hands side to side, and people started waving their hands side to side, following the music. That says something. And I know there are some people listening and watching right now be like, yo, get this man Joe Hendry off my screen, like he's taken away from all the other NXT talent and they're not getting their screen time. That is true. He is taking away from other people's screen time. But at the same time, those people have been there.
I feel you on that. And like this, listen, I will never come wrong at somebody. But when you're able to have someone that can come in and just have it. Like, we've seen wrestlers come and go, but some people just have that it factor. Like, when you're able to perform in the ring, be good on the mic. Because I'm be honest with you, being able to be good on the mic is one of the main things you have to have. Because if you can't sell yourself, don't get me wrong, you can have, if you're fortunate
like 70% of the job is your mic skills. 70%.
You can be fortunate enough to have like a Paul Heyman decide to be the mouth for you. You could be in good shape.
But if you don't have a Paul Heyman, you gotta sell yourself.
And mind, Joe Hendry has been around for a good while. Like,
yes, he has.
He has been around for a good while. He's been on the indies for a long time. And he's been doing a variation of the same gimmick. Not the whole thing with the bit with the music and the clap along. But I listened to him during the interview and how he started to develop this version of the character. You know,
Yep.
being able to have the audience get involved with pretty much everything that he does. And the example that he used was Queen,
Mm-hmm.
and how the band, like for those that the band Queen, I'll throw that out there, and how they were able to always have the fans pretty much intertwined with a lot of their songs, whether it was the interaction, the stomping the feet, whatever it was, the fans were always involved with it. And then being able to have like the instructions of what he wants you to be able to do within the song itself, and people just catch on and just do it, incredible. um I didn't think initially when we first saw him show up, and he ended up losing his. He was in like a battle royal match. He got thrown out.
Yeah, got immediately tossed out.
I was like, damn. Oh well, you know what? At least he got in here, and we got to see him on the NXT stage. But then when he went backstage, they showed afterwards, and he had the interaction with Shawn Michaels. I was like, oh, I think they got plans for this guy. And like we have,
And when Shawn Michaels approved the gimmick, you know something's already in the works.
And so now we have had him, I won't say every single week, but I would say we have had him on NXT television for a couple of episodes straight, and then on and off for a couple of weeks. Now I know he's under still a decent length contract with TNA, but I tell you, after that contract runs out, unless TNA does something amazing, Shawn, Triple H, and them are not going to let this dude.
Oh yeah, they're going to scoop him up. Like if this man stays healthy, still has a good TNA run, wins a couple championships, a couple high profile matches. Oh yeah, once this contract expires, they're going to scoop him up.
Listen, he already, unfortunately, you know, it was a 6-man match for the TNA championship. He did pin Moose, which eliminated him from the match. So it was unfortunate that wasn't the last two that was in the ring. But this dude has already pinned the TNA champion. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he did not win in the end game of that match. But beating the champion or eliminating the champion is something major. I don't care what promotion that you're in. Right now, this dude has the effect where outside of wrestling, people are starting to know what it is and sing along. I can't think of dude's name that plays. I think that was the Saints.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. I saw that.
And he posted like they were doing like normal, like just recording the players like as they were going to change. He just, hey, y'all gotta say his name, and he started singing to do it. He was like, listen, I needed that to be in y'all algorithm. I was like, it's one thing when you can be within the circle of people that just know because it's wrestling, but when you start coming outside of that shell is where you know you truly is where you're starting to truly have something.
Hey man, I'm just waiting for a spot in a movie where they be like, say his name and he appears, but it's somebody else. I'm like, that's a Joe Henry spot right there. I'm just waiting for somebody to just somewhere somehow make it onto like a big platform like a movie, and they just like you said his name, so now he's gonna appear or something, like just something. I'll be like, that's a Joe Henry spot right there. All the memes.
I feel you, and it's like I feel like we could get a couple other opportunities. Like right now, NXT thing doing good. I'm loving it, and you know I'm thinking those bigger spots that we can get involved with, like Survivor Series. Now, obviously, we may not do it the same way because of the way that TNA is really just working with NXT right now. But whatever NXT pay-per-view, whether it's a takeover or whatever they do during Survivor Series weekend, if they were looking at doing like NXT versus TNA, I would love to be able to see that happen. Like right now, the relationship is going well. And I want to see it continue once again through the Royal Rumble.
Do you know how weird it would be to have Nick Nemeth come out as TNA's world champion?
Oh my god!
And it's going to be like, aren't you Dolph Ziggler?
listen, it wouldn't surprise me. Um, like we've seen, we'll use Ash by Elegance, of course, coming over. Used to be Dana Brooke. They almost did that during NXT, where homie on commentary was like, "Yo, is that Dane?" It didn't just stop. It was like, Ash by Elegance. So it wouldn't surprise me. I feel like for everyone that has left the
But
WWE,
but people I'm not going to say people don't know Dana Brooke,
mhm,
but everybody flipping Dolph Ziggler. Like this man was the modern day pseudo Shawn Michaels. I'm not gonna say he's the modern day Shawn Michaels because no one can replace Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is Shawn Michaels, but this man was pretty much a pseudo Shawn Michaels in WWE. Like when he left, made ripples, made noise. People wanted to scoop him up. Came out as Dick Nemeth. They know him as Dolph Ziggler. They know him as Dick Nemeth. Dana Brooke, not so much. It's still like people still gotta get sold on her talent and what she can do, but people already sold on Nick Nemeth.
mhm. It'll be interesting if they do that, but like, I feel like he would almost feel like it would be a downgrade because like if he comes over to NXT, but don't get me wrong, I don't get I get that NXT is supposed to still be the developmental side and all that we're trying to get them up to the main roster, but I feel like with the way NXT is, it's its own brand. It's its own brand, plays by a different set of rules comparison to Raw and SmackDown.
I mean, if he's still champion come Royal Rumble, I would love them to start playing I'm here to show the and then his
And then go
actual
back
music.
into the
Like that would be nice. Cause like it's like a lot of people who haven't seen him be like, isn't that? But then but this is I
and they'll
know who
figure
this
it out.
is.
And they'll figure it out from there. But like saying Joe Hendry, if we can get to Royal Rumble and bring him, listen, Royal Rumble's gonna be it's gonna be in a stadium, whether it's a football stadium or a baseball stadium. To be able to have that whole stadium go absolutely nuts when this dude comes out,
Bro, just imagine everybody wave their hands side to side. Oh, that's gonna be lit. That's gonna be so nice to see.
But Joe Hendry has absolutely become one of my interesting characters to just sit and watch and to see what he does week after week. Um,
I mean, I feel the same way about that. Of Joe Henry's return as we seen with the Wyatt Six. Like, I put them both. Like I love seeing Joe Hendry, but I love seeing Wyatt Six content. I want more of both. Give me more of both. I'm a happy person.
And I think you will get more. Like Joe Hendry's going to be on NXT this week. He's got a whole concert that he's going to do. We'll see how that goes because obviously someone's not going to take it too lightly to.
Yeah, this isn't the Rock concert. Like you're going to get interrupted. Heck, we may see an Elias show up.
I don't know. I don't think we'll see that. But it's amazing that if he's able to come out, whoever interrupts him, is the fact that we're going to continue to see this story. Like I know we've already seen some of the NXT stars go over and show up on TNA. It's just a matter of seeing how frequently we keep going with the back and forth. It's just with the way things work, it's like sometimes you feel as though when they come over from TNA to NXT, they're not going to win anything. They're not going to be able to think. And the same thing when you go from NXT to TNA, you're not going to see them win anything over on their side. So I'm eager to see which side is going to let the gun be pulled first. Obviously, I don't think Joe Hendry is going to be taking the NXT championship off of Ethan Page or whoever right now. But I think we're going to get to the point where we may get to see Joe Hendry versus Ethan Page. I feel like that is something that I think can make sense if we can get the story, if we can align. Hey, listen, if Ethan Page was the one to come out and interrupt him during the concert, I'd be like, all right, we're there. But I want to see Joe Hendry come on. He's won a match. I think he's won at least one match on NXT TV.
Yeah,
But it's to
he has.
see. But I want to see them put that driving force. But obviously, they can only do it so much because he's not an NXT or WWE talent.
Yep.
So I know they're going to try to hold the catalyst of that back. But when the dude is just putting forth and everybody loves him, like, you're gonna have to give in somewhere. So I don't know if this dude, like, I don't have him beating Obafemi right now. So I don't need to see.
Obafemi, a bad man.
I don't need to see him go up against him right now. Maybe a tag team where they partner together with each other, but he's not taking that championship off of him. I don't see them getting the belt up off of Ethan Page for him. He's probably gonna get some solid wins, but then after a while, you got to be like, well, what are we gonna do with this dude? Because like we didn't get this dude a lot of TV time. For a start, it is technically not ours. So,
yeah, as of right now, he has more screen time than Jordan Grace, and she's the women's champion.
And she got over well with the fans because like when she showed up at Royal Rumble, people lost it. When she got the shot at the NXT Women's Championship against Roxanne Perez, listen, I'm gonna be the first one to say that I was for sure that she was gonna win that championship. I was for sure she was gonna do that.
That would have been wild if Jordan Grace was the NXT TNA Women's Champion.
Like, I'm waiting for them to pull that trigger on one of them. Like, maybe Obafemi goes over but I don't know what title he would take. Like, he's not taking X Division. Definitely not doing that. And
there's a TV title on TNA still.
They do have the the Digital Media Championship. Listen, I don't need to see PCO versus Obafemi. Like, I feel like Obafemi should dog walk PCO. Don't get me wrong, I like PCO. I feel like he's done something with the gimmick. It's okay. Like, I know a lot of people don't like like how like the Undertaker thing. Like, Undertaker's gimmick for all these years has worked because of who the Undertaker was. I don't know if NXT could use that. I don't think NXT needs to do that. It would be interesting to see how they would do it with bringing like a PCO over, but I don't think it fits that mold quite well. But who knows? I got faith. I got faith in Sean down there at NXT.
I mean, Sean does have an eye for talent. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
So I'm here for the Joe Hendry train, and I just want to see him keep going through NXT. Hopefully, make it to the Royal Rumble. It's a long shot of him winning the Royal Rumble, but I could.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I could see him being in the Final Four. I think would be a funny thing to see. I could definitely see him being in the Final Four. He'll probably be the first person out of the Final Four to get eliminated.
Probably.
But just to acknowledge where this dude is at currently right now, a lot of people do not get this push, especially for someone that is not technically employed by the company. But they
not employed by the company, not a champion.
Hey, when you don't listen, we've talked about this before. When you're able to move a storyline and keep it going without having a championship, that is a good sign. The championship is just icing on the cake. But if you can have that storyline where you don't have to have it revolve around the championship, solid storytelling.
Yep.
And I'm eager to see how they continue to work him in and build him up. Because eventually, I'm gonna be honest, like I keep saying, he's gonna get to the point where it's gonna feel like, yo, this dude has the challenge for the NXT championship. I feel like over the next few weeks, I feel like we can edge closer and closer towards that. It's just a matter of how we continuously frame them.
Mm-hmm.
But TNA, y'all need to be careful, because the moment this dude's contract is going to be up, Sean knocking at that door. Sean is already knocking at that door, and is already putting. Hey, listen. There's a spot for you here.
Indeed.
There is a spot for you here. And you have already shown that you deserve to have that spot on NXT. If you can't, but the only issue would be the same issue. He comes to NXT, how well he moves and transitions to the main roster. I feel like we've seen it. We've seen a little bit better. Now that
this man could have came out on Raw and still get the same pop.
Oh,
if not bigger. Like,
I agree. But with everything, with all the moving parts and the storylines that are there right now, he would get lost in the shuffle. And so I'm kind of happy.
I think he would fit well on SmackDown, going after Logan Paul. I feel as though with his gimmick, going after the United States Championship is a perfect move. If he was jumping straight into the main roster, instead of going back in NXT once his contract expires, I smooth see him go. If Logan, oh my God, I don't want to say this. Should Logan Paul still be United States champion when that happens? Like, I would 100% believe in Joe Hendry to take that championship.
Joe Hendry, U.S. champion on WWE SmackDown. It's got a nice little ring to it. Logan's gonna keep that belt for a while, so I think we could.
Bro, do you know the meme that he could make in his intro? I believe in the champion.
And listen, I want to see, like, for y'all that haven't seen this dude on
the memes that he would make in his video.
Tell you guys, go look up Joe Hendry when he was on the indie side, and the promo packages and things that he would put up and create against his opponents. Like, he's taken like famous songs and put spins on them. Blue from Eiffel 65. I'm trying to think of another one that he did the Pokemon theme. I forget who he was wrestling. That may have actually been against Drew McIntyre. He actually did one against Drew McIntyre, or I should say Drew Galloway, during his time on the indie circuit. But hey, listen, I will tell you, go look up some of his other stuff and see those promos and see where we've gone. Like, some of that stuff is still gold. It's still gold. And I want to see him tie some of that in. But listen, Joe Hendry right now is the guy on NXT that he keep it going. He's definitely going to work his way into a championship opportunity, but he's in a spot that a lot of people can't get to, in the fact that he's not even an actual employee of WWE. That I have to keep saying that, because WWE.
It is what it is.
But Joe Hendry, y'all don't still know who he is. Y'all need to go fix your lives, because you're gonna be hearing a lot from this dude over, I would say, at least the next year with the way this partnership is working. The dude ain't going away no time soon. All right, y'all. So that's gonna wrap up the main part of the show. Let us know what you guys thought of our topics. As usual, make sure, like, you guys talk to us. Give us some topics that you want us to talk about. Maybe we'll bring you on, let you have a little bit of a discussion, or at least chat it out in the chat with our folks for it, because we're here to make sure that you guys enjoy what we do. Marcus, anything you want to add in before we shut down the main part and move on to the Patreon topic?
Yes. For those of you watching, listening, make sure you click that Binkers link. If you're watching, it's right above us. Just go ahead, type it in, click it. We got a lot of different links that you can go through, see a lot of different content that may pique your interest, from anime to gaming to spoilers. Like, I'm not going to say what you should click, but I would definitely take a look at that Beacons link up above and find your niche, because you never know. There's also some merch stuff, so if you want to help us out, support the merch, get this nice fit right here, looking clean and fresh. I'm just saying, Beacons link. And then don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to all of those various platforms, so you can stay up to date, so you don't miss these episodes.
I dig it. Once again, We appreciate you guys tuning in, whether you're listening, watching, wherever you may be. Um, like, share, subscribe. It's a simple thing that we can ask for you to do. Um, any of that stuff, combination of it, always helps to make sure that we can keep doing this stuff and get it in front of you even more. But let's go ahead and shift topics. Thank you guys for tuning in. Jump over to Patreon if you want to get the rest of this, because we're going to do this shift.
Loading snacks.